So AI is already replacing some photography jobs, but before you panic, let's talk about where we actually stand on today's episode of
Ask David Bergman.
Hey there everybody, welcome back. Here I am, as always, answering your photography questions right here on Adorama TV. Today's question comes from Rui B, and he wants to know, we're seeing AI move faster and faster into all industries, including photography. How do you see it affecting our business, and how should we be using it? Where do we draw the line between what's okay and what's not? Thanks for sending that in, Rui. I do certainly appreciate it. Now, I did a video about AI and photography a few years ago, but things have moved so fast that it is worth revisiting. A lot has happened since then, both good and bad, so let's start with the part that nobody really wants to talk about. Some photography jobs are already gone. They're not going, they're not threatened, they're just gone. The best example I can think of is stock photography. AI can now easily generate just about any image from scratch, including photorealistic looking people. Getty Images and Shutterstock, two of the biggest names in the stock business, announced a merger last year. Industry analysts generally feel that this is clearly a defensive move against AI-generated images cutting into their market. If you've been depending on selling stock photos as part of your income, you probably know, as Austin Powers would say, that train has sailed. Headshots are another industry being severely affected by AI. Anyone can take a simple selfie with their phone in bad light and have it turned into a professional-looking corporate headshot, including makeup and new backgrounds. Now, those aren't quite perfect yet, and there's still a strong case for hiring a real photographer to coach you into the best angles and expressions for your face, but the gap is closing really fast. Things like basic product shots, real estate photography, and other high-volume, low creative direction work are in a similar position. If the job is mostly about showing up and covering something predictable in a controlled environment, AI and automation are bound to take over sooner or later. Now, I know this sounds scary for some, and it absolutely should be, but the first step is being honest with ourselves about where the disruptions are happening so we can adapt before it's too late. The photographers who are going to struggle are the ones waiting for this to blow over. It's not going to happen. Now, besides the industry disruptions, there's something else that affects every photographer, whether you realize it or not. The images you've posted online, like your portfolio, your social media, and your client galleries, those may already have been used to train AI systems without your knowledge or compensation. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's how most of these models are built. Now, there are legal battles happening over this right now, and the law is still evolving, but there is something you can do about it. I recommend adding language to your contracts that specifically prohibits your images from being used for AI training purposes. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and you should absolutely talk to one about the specific wording, but the general idea is simple. If a client or anyone else wants to use your work, your contract should make clear that AI training is not one of the permitted uses. It might only be a finger in the dam that's already broken, but it's something that each one of us can do just a little bit to protect our work. Okay, so those are some of the things to watch out for, but technology advancements are not all bad news. This is where I turn this into a positive. AI has also given photographers some genuinely useful tools, and I think we'd be foolish not to take advantage of them. For managing large archives, there are some cool new tools emerging. I recently started playing around with a program called Peakto. It can scan your local image catalogs across multiple programs and create AI-generated keywords based on the content of your images. That functionality is kind of a holy grail for me because I often need to search through thousands or hundreds of thousands of photos to find something specific for a client, and this will literally save me hours of time doing that. It is far from perfect, but the potential upside is huge as they continue to develop these types of software. I've also had the opportunity to use Photoshelter's AI visual search, which does something similar for larger organizations and teams. And that's cloud-based and not available on their individual photographer plan just yet, but I'm hoping it will be at some point because it is incredibly useful. Now, there are also more subtle but important ways AI is being incorporated into the software that we already use every day. I use DxO Pure Raw for noise reduction, and it's incredible how good it is. I never used to recommend noise reduction software because you would lose too much detail in your images, but with these AI-powered tools, it keeps the detail while virtually eliminating all noise. By the way, after I started talking about my love of Pure Raw, DxO reached out to me and created an affiliate code for 15% off any of their software if you're a new customer. That includes their Nik Suite, Photolab, Pure Raw, any of them. The code is Bergman Rocks, of course, and I'll put a link in the description below. Now anyway, AI masking and subject selection in Photoshop, Lightroom, and Capture One also really work well now. Selecting a person from a background used to be a nightmare. Now it just takes 1 or 2 clicks. Now there are also a new batch of AI culling tools that can analyze your images and flag the sharpest, best exposed frames so you're not manually clicking through thousands of photos. I could see this being useful for some types of photography, like portraits or maybe even some wedding work. I haven't personally used it for my concert photos because I just feel like picking the right moments in the show is part of the creative process, and I'm not quite ready to hand that over to the machines just yet. But for the right kind of photographer, they could save you many, many hours. Now, Rui asked where to draw the line, and the ethics of this are also important to consider. For personal work and most commercial photography, how much AI you use is honestly between you and your client. If you're using generative fill to clean up a background or remove a distraction, and your client is okay with that, that's a creative decision, not a moral one. But there is a hard line for me, and you probably know it's editorial and news photography. If you're documenting something real, whether it's a news event, a sporting event, or anything where the authenticity of the image is the whole point, then manipulating or generating any part of that image is simply wrong. It doesn't matter how subtle it is. A news photo that has been altered is not a news photo anymore. It's a lie. We already live in a world where people struggle to trust what they see. Photographers have always been the ones holding that line, and I think we have a responsibility to keep holding it. Hey, quick sidebar while I've got you. If you've got a photography question you want me to answer, you probably know what to do. Just go to askdavidbergman.com and submit that form right there on the site. If you want to keep up with everything I'm doing, thedavidbergman.com has links to my socials, my free email list, and a ton of educational videos, and even some discount and affiliate links. And if you're enjoying this video, please hit like, subscribe to Adorama's YouTube channel, and tap that bell icon for notifications. It really does help us to keep making free photography content for you every single week. Okay, so where does that leave us with Rui's question about how we should be using AI? I say go ahead and use it anywhere it saves you time without compromising your creativity. Things like noise reduction, masking, archive search, and business stuff like emails and marketing. If AI can handle the tedious parts of your workflow, let it do it. That's working smarter instead of harder. But there are still some things AI can't do, and I think this is where photographers need to focus our energy going forward. While AI can create things from scratch, it can't document the real world. I'm fortunate that my clients hire me to create a visual record of their life and career, and that means I have to physically be there to create those images. AI can't be in the pit at a concert, at the altar where the groom sees his bride for the first time, or on the sidelines when something unexpected happens. Real moments happen once in the real world, and you have to be there to capture them. So I don't think event-based photography is going anywhere anytime soon. As we spend more time on our phones and computers, I think people are actually craving more human connection. Maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part, but people like being with people that they like. Relationships are everything. My access as a concert photographer comes from years of trust built with artists, management, and crews. A wedding photographer who knows how to calm down a nervous bride or wrangle a chaotic family is providing something that has nothing to do with cameras or software. Those relationships and people skills can't be replicated by a machine. I even think that fine art photography is more resilient than it might seem. Yes, you can generate an image that looks like an Annie Leibovitz portrait, but would you rather hang that on your wall or own an actual print made by Annie Leibovitz? Some buyers might be happy with an AI-generated image, and that's fine. That work is going to be gone. But there will always be collectors, galleries, and fans who want the real thing made by a specific human being whose vision and life experience went into creating it. That market isn't going away. If anything, work that is genuinely and verifiably human may become even more valuable in the future. AI can't replace your specific point of view. The reason clients hire you isn't just to have someone to press a button. It's because of how you see the world. That's something worth protecting and developing because it's the thing that's genuinely yours. I believe the conversation is starting to shift. People are starting to crave authenticity again. The trend lines are pointing towards less technical perfection and more humanity. And that happens to be exactly what photographers are uniquely qualified to deliver. So Rui, I hope that answers your question. While there are plenty of things to worry about and plenty of questions still to answer, I prefer to be optimistic about the future. AI is changing our industry fast, and some of those changes are painful. But the photographers who lean into the useful tools while doubling down on the things only a human can do, showing up, building relationships, and bringing a genuine point of view, those are the ones who are going to survive and thrive. What do you all think? Are you using any AI tools in your workflow? And what are you most worried about or most excited about when it comes to AI and photography? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're clicking around, check out the video I did about my Capture One workflow that includes how I round trip my images into DxO Pure Raw for AI noise reduction by clicking that video on the screen somewhere. It's a good watch that should give you some tips you can apply even to your own post-processing. As always, thanks so much for watching Adorama TV. I'll see you next time right here on Ask David Berg.